Hello, everyone. It's William and Barnaby here with you here at Allegory Gallery. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I hope you are having a great day. I had a really nice day in the store. I was up in Johnstown today. We did not have a lot of people come in. In fact, we only had one person come in, but that one person made some really cool stuff. Here's a Barnaby tail. He stood up. You want to say hi? I'm gonna say hi to everybody. Oh, let's say hi to everybody, Byron. Mwah. That's my boy. Yeah. He's purring so good right now. I'm gonna say hi to everybody over here. There they are. Oh, that's Barnaby. Give me kisses. Yeah, that's a boy. Good boy. Mwah. I love you. Oh, okay. So, yeah. Um, it was a good day. It was a good day. I got a lot done. I've been talking about putting these uh, sterling silver pieces that we have in the online store, and I got pictures of them, finished editing the pictures a few days ago, and was working on those and exported them, resized all the pictures, all the things you got to do for an online store. Like you can't just take pictures and post them, right? You take pictures, you edit them, um, check them for color, try and do the best job you can there to make sure they represent correctly what it is, even though all screens are different, right? But you still do the best you can. And then um, take out any nicks or like cat hair that might be in the photo. Like that happens sometimes for some reason. And then I export all the photos in a smaller size, and then I run them through a program that I have that compresses them even further without distorting their size or changing their size too much. So you still get pretty nice big pictures in the online store at a pretty nice resolution, but they're much smaller file size. So they actually load quicker in the online store, because if it takes too long to load, people swipe away. That's just proven. If things take more than, I think it's literally 1.5 seconds or so. If things take much more than a second or two to load, people swipe away. Um, so we try to make our file sizes very small. And so that's what I was working on a few days here for the last few days. And then today I wrote up some of the descriptions and measured everything, got everything measured, and got the online store uh, products done there. And um, I'm still going to go through and try to let people know what stones are in what, but I got the pictures up. If people like the looks of things, you can kind of see the stones yourself, probably just fine. I don't need to say it, but I probably will at least tag things with the stones, because that way, if you're searching our site and you're looking for a particular stone, like rutilated quartz, there's that 14 karat gold and sterling silver one with rutilated quartz in it. So that would pop up in your search of rutilated quartz. So we try and tag things so that if you are looking for a particular thing, as many things as possible that actually include it are there. But I have to go back through and do that. I didn't get a chance to do that today, but I wanted to get the things up and online. I have not sent out an email about it yet. So they are in the online store, and I actually let people know in the design challenges group and the D-Stash group. I let them know that I was adding things so that they could kind of watch one by one if they wanted to kind of um, find the things right away that they wanted. You could kind of refresh the page, and I was doing it live there. And a few people have grabbed some things so far, so thank you so much. There are many, many beautiful pieces still available, and I'm going to show you some of them. We're going to take a look at some of them today in person on camera, so that you can see kind of in movement. And I tried to take pictures of fronts and backs and maker marks. Some of the maker marks, we don't know who they are. So um, we mark them as maker unknown. And the picture of the maker mark is there. If we do know who they were, or who made them or who designed them, we put that in the information along with the sizes of everything. But But these are all things from Andrew's vast collection that he's collected over decades, that he's just, kind of letting go out into the world. Better than us holding on to everything. We're letting them go. That'll also help us, hopefully, get some funds for some of the things that we're trying to do. And every little bit helps. And we have a lot of stuff coming up that we're trying to do at the cottage. We have things that we're making plans for, and we'd like to do more tutorials and videos and things like that that aren't selling videos. um, so it all goes toward that kind of big fund. Let me see who's here. Kimberly's here. Hello, Kimberly. Susie's here. Hello. Thank you all for being here. Anne is here. Hello, Anne. Thanks for joining us today. Um, Love all the sterling stuff, but had to go with a vessel, says Kimberly. Yes, I also added my recent vessels, and I'm going to show those because I haven't shown those on video yet. But my pottery things, my latest pottery things are available, all except for this one, because I left this one at home here. That is, I still need to put that in tomorrow, but I'll put that in there tomorrow. But everything else is pretty good to go, ready in the online store, and I'm going to show you those today. We did sell one of my vessels. That was Kimberly, as she said. So thank you so much for that. That is the red flower one that has sold. So I was really proud of that one. Um, it's kind of the inverse of the other vessels that I make. I usually pinch them out, and I pinched this one in. And as I was doing that, I realized it looked like a flower. So I decorated it kind of like I was thinking of a poppy, but I don't know that it actually looks like that or not. But that was what was in my brain as I was doing that. So, um, yeah, that's my day. I had somebody come in the end of the day. Um, our new friend Zach came in. Well, not new. Um, we've gotten back in touch. Kind of. He and his wife used to come in to the Ligonier store once in a while, but now this is the first time. I think this is the first time they've been in the Johnstown store. But they have come to various shows that we've been at in Johnstown, and some of the kind of supernatural and cryptid shows. So. He came in and um, he has this doll. They're called Blythe dolls, and they have these strings. Then you pull the string, and the eyes change color, and they blink at you, and it's pretty cool. But I guess what people are doing is they're decorating the strings with beads, so that they're not just plain. So he went around and picked out different colors that match the doll and kind of match the eyeshadow and stuff like that, which is really cool. And started stringing it up, and didn't get finished by the end of the day. So he's going to work on it at home. But it's really cool. It's a cool concept. We love seeing things that people do with beads that aren't jewelry. Um, if you're ever working on something and you've bought beads from us, and you're like, I don't know if I should post in the design challenges group because it's not jewelry. Yes, you should post. Please post. I would love, love, love to see the things that you all make that aren't jewelry related. We've had people do like shadow boxes, and they kind of do scenes and they paint with beads in a way. It's really interesting for our book club. When our book club was in person, um, you could make anything that was inspired by the book, and people would use beads in the most amazing ways. And so, if you are doing something with our beads that is not jewelry related, please know you can post in our Facebook group, and we would love to see it. Um, let's see here. Kimberly says, it is gorgeous and spoke to my heart, so had to have it, and thankful I was able to grab it. Yes, thank you for grabbing it. I appreciate that. Um, every bit helps right now. Little bits, big bits, it all helps us right now. This is the slowest, one of the very slowest times of the year. After the holidays, kind of midwinter, things slow down. So we are appreciative of every single sale and all of support, whether it's sharing, whether it's, commenting, whether it's buying, whatever it is, we are appreciative of that. And I love it when people love the stuff I make. So that's pretty awesome. I also shared on my William Tries Things page some of the new pendants that I'm working on. And I talked about those yesterday. I tried to put them up on camera yesterday and it would not work. So I showed them today to give you a kind of sneak peek of what they are. I don't even know how they're going to end up looking in the end. So we're going to find out when I get them fired. But I am no, like I keep saying, I am no illustrator. I am no painter. So I am doing things um, Len called it like folk art like. So it's primitive kind of looking in some ways, but I think they're gonna be cute. I hope they're gonna be cute. We're gonna see. We're gonna find out when they actually get fired. But I'm excited for it, and hopefully it'll be a line of pendants that I can sell through the store, and it will be more in the lines of jewelry that we normally do with this. I've done pendants before with Andrew's decals, or decals from Andrew's artwork. I have done those, but this will be the first time like I'm doing my own thing on the ceramics completely as far as a pendant is concerned. So I'm excited to see how it goes. Um, Let's see. Anne says, love that. It's fun to know different ways that people use beads. Yeah, absolutely. And he did say he's going to send me a picture when he finishes. So I'll be able to post that if he doesn't post it in the group. I told him he should post it in the group. So we'll see. But he said he'd at least send me a picture. Um, and Marianne's here, just got home. Hello, Marianne. Thanks for joining us. Um, Kimberly says, I'm excited to see those. I'm excited to see how they come out. Hopefully people will like them. Hopefully I'll like them. Hopefully they'll come out looking like a good thing. We'll see. Uh, I've never used underglaze before. This is the very first time I'm using underglazes. Um, and while we have a decent selection of underglazes, we don't have like tons and tons of colors. So um, I'm working with what we've got, and I think it's a good palette for me to work with right now uh, because I'm new to this and I'm just kind of feeling my way through it. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm trying not to fuss too much. Like yesterday, when was it yesterday? No, Wednesday when I was there, I I designed one of them and I really, really liked it. And then I started looking at it. And the more I looked at it, the more I'm like, oh, it could use a little bit more black here. And I started doing that and I almost really messed it up. And I hope I didn't. So I need to, you know, kind of learn when to quit and just let things be good enough and see how they come out. Because I have no idea. I shouldn't fuss as much as I am, especially when I have no idea how they're going to come out anyway. So that's what I'm trying to teach myself to do. Um, let's see. Kimberly says, "Did you glaze both sides?" I think it's supposed to be sides. Um, they are partially underglazed on the backs, but I don't think I'm going to glaze both sides because if I don't overglaze um, both sides, the back will remain semi-porous and you can use them for essential oils. Um, and so it's possible those pendants could be used for essential oils. They do because I'm doing the sides of them. Some of the brush strokes are coming around the back for the underglaze. But underglaze, I think, is fine. It can touch the kiln shelves and it won't stick. And so it doesn't do the same thing. But I will probably do a top coat of clear, I think, after I'm done so that they do have a clear coat and things stand out more brightly. I think I'm going to do that. I tend to like glossy. Andrew is somebody who likes matte. We always talk about this. Andrew likes things matte a lot of times, and I like things more glossy. So I will probably do a clear top coat, but I probably will leave that off the back as much as I can so that they can be used. If people want to use them for like essential oils, you can do that. I don't know if that's something people would be interested in or not, um, but we'll see. Let me know. Why did you ask about both sides? Did you have a particular thing in mind? Were you thinking about something? Um, I do know that sometimes when you don't do the backside, sometimes they're a little bit more rough. So I don't know. Um, like it's usually probably not. It's not going to be rough enough because I can sand them down. Not rough enough to like pick at clothing too much, but that's also another concern is if I do glaze all sides, then they would be more smooth. So I don't know why you were asking. There's multiple reasons why you might be, but I was thinking about leaving the backs um, mostly unglazed. They might have a little underglaze, but that way you could do essential oils. Kimberly says, I don't like the texture against my skin. Okay, that's what I wasn't sure. Yeah, that's the thing. There's the texture, but there's also the possibility of doing essential oils. Um, so I don't know. If you said you can catch on some fabrics, if they are not usually you can sand them down with sandpaper and smooth them out so that they're pretty much not they're not going to catch on much of anything at that point if you smooth them out real well, and some people don't do that, I know. If I leave them unglazed, I will probably go through the process of really smoothing them out on sandpaper. um, I might just end up glazing everything to save myself that hassle though too. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know yet. I kind of like the idea of using them for essential oils, but I don't know how many people actually do that. Like it is a thing you can do, but I don't know how many people would actually do that, and if it would be better just to seal them up. Um, Kimberly says artist choice. Yeah, I don't know yet. I haven't decided that yet. Um, yeah, I don't know. I did not underglaze the backs. So if I do the backs, it would just be in a clear coat. I'm not going to worry about underglazing in a color, I think. Um, unless I design on both sides. That's another option too, is I could design on both sides, but I kind of feel like that. I mean, you get two designs for one kind of that way, but it's also a lot more work. Um, and then the price would have to go up on each pendant. So I'm trying to, balance all that out. Um, if I was an illustrator or somebody that did more drawing and I could do it faster, like I'm taking so much time on each one because I'm just trying to think of how to do it and what might look nice. And I'm also in my head over it because I'm not somebody who draws or paints very often. So I'm like, is this good enough? Is anybody going to like this? And then I keep noodling with them. So we'll see. But hopefully people will like them. I was going to do a few that were just kind of like my designs that I do inside the bowls, just with the black lines and different things. And I might still do some like that. I don't know if people would like those though. I don't know if people would buy those or not. Um, I don't know. What do y'all think? Would you want that, or do you like the more? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I do. Um, but yeah, how's everybody else out there? Um, Anderson, some of your designs would work well with making stencils. Hmm. Yeah, I need to get into that more too. Making stencils and making prints and things like that, um, to make my life easier too. Um, yeah. So how's everybody else? I just realized I did not share this. I was like, numbers are low. Why are they so low today? I didn't share this anywhere, so I'm going to go ahead and share this in our group. Um, yeah, let's see. We'll share this in the group, share it places. Let's see. It says, I think you should make what you want. Trying to make stuff for other people is a quick way to get frustrated. That's true, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if I feel like squiggles are enough. Would I buy pendants with squiggles? Probably. Um, maybe. I don't know. But I'm trying to add some squiggles to the pictures I'm doing. Little painting, little mini um, paintings I'm doing. Um, Eric's here. Thanks so much for joining us. As I say, make what you like. Thanks. I'm going to try. It's hard because I know what I like, but I also know what my like at this moment what my abilities are. Um, and so things that I would like maybe outside my abilities, but I'm trying. I'm trying to make the things that I like. Um, Let's see. Your squiggles are more abstract and fun, says Kimberly. Thanks. I am not someone who draws either, but I can marble and do blended brush strokes. Yeah, I'm trying to play somewhat with like that's what I did in the dishes. I tried to work with some watercolor blending and that, and that's I think that was fairly successful in the little blue dish and the red one that you got, Kimberly. But uh I'm still playing around with that. Those were over glazes. I've not played with any of that with under glazes yet. So, um, yeah, I'm not good at that either, though. I haven't done that. Like, I've not played with watercolors. Like, I used to have, as a kid, you had watercolor sets and stuff. I haven't played with those since I was a kid, literally, like, probably 6 or 7 years old. Um, but, and I know I live with an artist. I can ask questions, right? But, um, he doesn't come to the class. I always have ideas in the class. Andrew says, I know we're tight on money and you've got that in the back of your head that you have to make something that will sell. It's true. I, of course, am always looking because I'm not making these for me. I mean, yes, we could use more mugs and of our own and maybe get rid of some of the, ones that are generic that we have, but I don't make these things for me. I'm making them because I like to make them, but also hopefully selling them to people. So it is in my mind, um, I like doing this and I don't mind doing it to make money. They talk about don't ruin a hobby by trying to make money. I actually like it. I get a lot of thrill out of it when people want to buy stuff. It's amazing to me that people want to buy stuff I make, but it is thrilling and I like that. So I do gear a lot of my work toward what I think people will like, but you never know what people are going to like, right? So I have no idea sometimes. And it still astounds me that people like to buy the things that my current ability can create. I always think about like you have to be like at the top of your game to be able to be something that people want. And I know that's not true for me because I don't just buy those kind of things. But on the other side of things, I think a lot of us have a tendency to tell ourselves that our things are not good enough for that. And we always tell you to stop saying that. And I need to tell myself to stop saying that. But it's hard. It's hard. Um, Susie's here. Hello, Susie. Thanks for joining us. Kimberly says it is a boost to the confidence and makes you want to keep going. It's true. It's true. And Andrew says you can always practice watercolors and designs at home. Yeah, um, I definitely could. I definitely could. Um, yeah, it's an interesting thing. But I've been having fun, and that's the point of this is to learn something new and have fun. And I am learning new things and I'm having fun. So we'll see how things come out. I'm trying not to get too much in my head. I'm trying to just let go a little bit. I mean, some of my favorite artists are people who can't really draw or make things that are like not super detailed and I have to remember that and be kinder to myself on those things. Susan's here. Hello, Susan Surreal, thank you for joining us. See, I shared and now people are starting to see it. um, Susan says, and William and Andrew, thank you so much for the shout out. So unexpected and appreciated. Yeah, we were happy to do that. We're trying to show people the things y'all make. And not everyone is in the Design Challenges group. And you all have, many of you, most of you, have made some really wonderful things for Beat in the New Year. And we're so proud of all of the work you all did. Some of you made a few things, some of you made a lot of things. And so we are trying to push a little bit of that into the main Allegory Gallery page. And we don't do that very often. A lot of times that page is reserved for things that we do. And we're trying to ease up a little bit on that. Not ease up, we're trying to promote you because we feel like we should. You're doing amazing things. And we want people to be able to see it. And I know y'all don't sell, like some of you do, but not all of you sell things. And, you know, um, y- when you have a small business on Facebook, a lot of times you are geared towards showing things that you're selling. Like that's kind of the point, but it's not the point. It shouldn't be the only point. And so, if you do sell things and we do share your things, hopefully that will help you as well. Now, we're not tagging people, um, and we're not giving, first, last name. We're giving first names only. Um, and the reason we do that is we want to keep your privacy private if you want to. I know the Design Challenges group is open. Anybody can technically view it. So if you're posting there, people could see your stuff. But when we share it on our page, we feel it's our responsibility to keep it as anonymous as we can without it being completely anonymous. Like we want to give you credit. We don't want to share things and act like they're ours. We would never do that. Or not give you some credit over your own work. But we also don't want to tag you in case you don't want to be tagged or you don't want people to see. So what I do is I'll give your first name. And we do this, we've been doing this more often this year, and I'm going to repeat this every once in a while so that if you want to go in and tag your own things or comment under the photos that we post that are your things, please feel free to do that. Um, and give yourself credit and let people know that you're credited for those. We are not giving you credit because we're trying to hide who it was or anything like that. We are just trying to protect your privacy as best we can. Um, and some people don't want their full name out there and all that. So if you want to comment and say, hey, thank you for sharing my creations or anything like that, or go under each picture and if you've titled your works or you want to talk about the beads you used or your inspiration for each one, please feel free to do that. I think it would help connect people if you want to do that, but we are leaving it with just your first name if just in case you don't want to do that. Um, Susan says, I love seeing your ceramic work and the vintage sterling items. Yeah, we have been um, trying to get that sterling stuff up for a while. So I finally got it up today. I'm glad you like that. And glad you like the ceramic stuff. That's some of my newest stuff. Like I said, I got everything except this one, which I left on my desk here. So that'll go up. That was in the process. I showed some of the process shots of these. And this was in one of the process shots, but I did not actually have the finished piece to put up for y'all. Um, Let's see here. Andrew says, realistically, you're being unkind to yourself. You're putting so much pressure on yourself in your class. I know you have support from Amy and the other students, but you only have a few hours to work on your ceramic work, design work, test new products, and make something that is aesthetically pleasing. That is hard. I make tons of stuff that no one ever sees, but is part of the process. Yeah, I'm trying. There are like I do put a lot of pressure on myself to hopefully have things turn out when I make something, but sometimes they don't. Um, like I had something to be trimmed this week. I had two pieces to trim because I made two things on the wheel in one week, and I had a really hard week. I could barely make anything. I got two things out of it in my class, and I was like, okay, that's at least I got two things. Well, as they dried, one of those things has a giant crack in the bottom, and that crack is only going to get bigger as it goes through the rest of the processes. So I had to toss it so that I'm down to one thing. And so that always frustrates me, but it is part of the process. And I am trying to be, more gentle on myself. Um, but I do like to make things that are for sale, and I like to have something to sell every class or two. That is I'm trying to make that the goal, but it's just getting to the point where the things I'm doing are getting more intricate and I'm testing new things and I just don't have something every class to sell. So as much as I would love that and it would please me to have that, um, I don't. But when I do these pendants, I should, if you saw the pictures, I should have a good batch of things as long as they all turn out okay. I should have a nice batch of things to release at some point, which will be fun. Hello, Leslie. Thanks for joining us. Um, so what's going on, everybody? How was your day? How was your day out there? Um, we've only got about 11 people watching. It must be, it's a slow Friday night. It is Friday, right? It is Friday. Um, Normally Fridays are a little bit busier, but I'm glad you're all here. Whoever's here, I'm glad you're here and hanging out with us. Um, Andrew says, I know you also want to offset the cost of classes too with your sales. Yes, I try to do that. Um, it doesn't take long, like, it doesn't take long before the cost of the classes start to outrun, the things I produce. And so I do try to make sales to offset the classes. And I'm probably very far behind on cost of classes versus sales, even though I've sold a lot, and I thank you for that. Um, I was looking today. I think I put up, let me look here because I can't remember exactly what the number was, but it kind of astounded me a little bit. Um, Let me see here. Where are my products? Uh, Pottery vessel. It's the last one. Um, I have put out 125 vessels. I've put out 125 vessels since I've been doing this. Um, and most of them, thankfully, thanks to all of you, most of them have sold. I don't know how many I still have left in the shop. Um, Let me see here. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So about 32 of them have not sold. So out of 100, what I say, 125, 32 of them have not sold. So a good 80 some vessels have sold, whether they're little dishes or bigger things. So thank you all so much for that. I appreciate that so much. Um, and that helps us out a lot, and helps cover my classes, which I'm trying to do. If I take the classes, I feel like I need to make the money back. So every time you purchase something from me, that helps offset the cost of the class because I do pay for these. These are not free classes. So um, yeah, I appreciate it so much. Um, yeah. So how's everybody else doing? Have you done anything today? How are the animals today? Have you had any good food? I stopped and picked up pizza on the way home. Um, and because I knew I was probably not going to get to the grocery store before the live. So I picked up some pizza and I didn't get to eat it yet though. It's that good wood-fired pizza from the new pizza place that opened on the way home, and I love it so much. But it's gonna be cold before I get to eat it. But I think we're gonna have to put it in the oven, do the warm setting in the oven maybe, um, to keep it warmed up so that it doesn't get too cold. Even though it's good cold. I got a white pizza. I got a white pizza, and I forget the name of the other one, but I think it has like arugula and spinach and shaved almonds and cheese and I think it's a red wine balsamic sauce or a red wine vinegar reduction sauce. I can't remember which one, but it's good stuff. And they're both okay cold, but it would be nice to have a warm pizza. Kimberly says, my grocery order arrived right before the live. I'm going to have to cook some dinner. What are you going to make? Tortellini. What are you going to make tonight? Traffic and shopping was a nightmare, and now I'm too tired to cook, says Leslie. Oh boy. Yeah, I was going to be um, I was going to be too late if I too late to get to the grocery store, I think, or too late for the live if I tried to stop. Um, Andrew says, I think you don't ask. Oops. I think you don't ask for my help because we are already so entwined with life and work, and this is your thing. So I don't try to push you. Figure that if you have a question from me or want my feedback, you'll ask. Yeah, Yeah, we I'm trying to learn things on my own. Um, I have never been one though to ask questions that much. I like to do trial by error in a lot of ways. In some things, like in school, I was not one to raise my hand to ask a question. I would rather try and research it myself and figure it out. And I think that was some of the reasons why I was more successful in school. Um, because I didn't just look for the quick answer from somebody. Um, but maybe I would have gotten more ahead if I did that. I don't know. I've just always been that person. Like when I'm at like the supermarket, I'm gonna run around the aisles looking for things myself rather than just ask someone. Unless I really can't find it, then I'll ask. But that's just always the way I've been. I will seek to find before I ask. And that plays a part in it too, I think. Um, Let's see here. Andrew says, sometimes people ask me why I don't participate more in your William Tristring's group, and it's because I want you to feel confident in your own thing. I know what it is like to be in someone else's shadow, and it's no good. Yeah, and that's fine. And I think, yeah, I think it's good if we have our own things because our lives are so entwined. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it makes sense, I think. Um, Susie S. How is Gertie? I think Gertie is fine. Um, I've not seen her trying to do any extra peeing lately. I think a lot of it had to do with the disruption between them chasing Gilbert and Gilbert chasing her and everybody chasing each other. I think it just was getting everybody riled up a little bit too much. Um, and the girls tried to attack Gilbert this morning again. I had to separate them. I had to put Idabelle in her little cage and set her aside for a little while. Um, they were getting mean again. So I gotta get this settled down. I don't know why. I have not. I don't know. I know there was another cat outside when it was snowing because I would see cat tracks. And I don't know if that's setting them off, if there is a cat around that might, because when there's another cat around, they do tend to get on edge a little bit more. So, yeah. Andrew says, if I have an opportunity to work with someone, I'm going to ask questions until I'm blue in the face. Yeah, he does that. He does that. I don't do it so often. I do ask Amy questions, but I do try to play with things. And sometimes the things that I'm trying to play with, she hasn't really experimented much with. So we're kind of learning together in some ways too. Um, and so that's kind of fun. And I think I tend to pick things like that. Like she has not played with engobes that much. She's read about them, she's used them here and there, but not the way that I use them. So when I'm playing with things, it's also helping everybody to learn what they do and how they can be used too, which I kind of like that. Um, let's see here. Uh, I'm missing comments over here. Sorry, the comments just jumped. Leslie said, "Oh wait, got that." Um, Kimberly says, "I might, but it will probably be either breakfast casserole or biscuits and gravy." Oh, that sounds good. I like that. Um, Susan says, "We went with our radio friend to the Mexican restaurant around the corner. Nice lunch, and the leftovers were great." Ooh, I like leftovers. That's the second or third time I've heard about people eating Mexican food recently, and it's making me hungry to go down to our Mexican restaurant here in town and get something. Um, they have like they have like this big family meal that's like a bunch of tacos for a low price, and it makes me want to get them. Even though we make our own stuff a lot of times, but sometimes it's just good. They make a good oh, what is it? It just left my brain as soon as I went to say it. Um, it's kind of a stuffed pepper. It's a stuffed kind of sweet pepper. I can't think of the name. And we haven't had that in a long time. It's fried, stuffed with cheese and potatoes, I think, and it's so good. So that's kind of in my brain. Kimberly says, I'm the same way, William. I have to try and solve the problem before I seek help. Yes. Marianne also had pizza. Nice. Susie says, today was my brother's funeral. I wasn't able to stay for it or get another set of airline tickets in order to attend. I was there for his passing, but I'm sad I wasn't there today. That's sad. That's hard. Um, I have been in that situation, um, but for me, I kind of prefer that. Like if I'm with someone for their passing, that is that for me is kind of the end. And in our family, it kind of is because we don't really have funerals anymore. We don't do the funeral thing. And like my grandmother, my grandparents both passed, and then they got cremated. There was no funeral, there was no viewing, there was no nothing, anything like that. Um, and that's kind of how we do it now in my family. And it kind of I kind of like that, but I'm sorry that you wanted to and couldn't. Um, um, and people are saying, sorry to hear this, condolences. Absolutely. Susan says, William, sorry to learn your kitties are fighting. Yeah, it's hard, right? Um, it's hard when they do that, but let's see. Oh, and held a comment for review. Oh, on another note, Smudge wants me to go to bed with him. It's too early. Oh, they're probably that comment got held for review because you're talking about going to bed with somebody. That's funny. Um, Susan says, I like this place because they have a nice vegetarian section. Yeah, that's good. Our they don't have a ton of vegetarian options, but they do have a good number of vegetarian options. And Andrew just said it, chili relleno. Yes, chili relleno. That's the good one. Andrew says we have to call ahead though because it's not always vegetarian. Yeah, they don't always do vegetarian. They have things. Sometimes they don't have vegetarian tacos, or sometimes they do, or sometimes there's another thing we like to get, which I can't remember. But sometimes it's vegetarian, and sometimes they don't do vegetarian ones. But they're good. They're good. Um, Susan also said Smudge is so adorable, right? Yeah. So that's my day. I'm going to I know we haven't been talking for that long, but I'm going to get things started because I'm going to show things before we get into the actual live sale. So I'm going to start that process now and flip the camera around because my eyes are getting a little blurry. I'm a little bit tired. I've been staring at screens literally all day today. Um, so my eyes are getting a little tired, and uh and I'm a little bit tired. I'm ready to chill out for a little bit. But I'm glad I get to hang out with y'all here. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Like, why is this not looking right? Um, Anne says, I was eating hummus and veggies, and Daniel Tiger decided he wanted to try the hummus when I turned my head for a minute. He likes chickpeas. That's cute, right? And you get the hummus without the garlic, right? So that's probably fine for Daniel Tiger. Um, because I know garlic and onions aren't good for cats, but our cats still like to try to eat stuff. Like they love like ranch dressing and pasta sauce. It's really weird. If we turn around too long, they'll be up in licking our bowls. Uh, Susan says sometimes, usually before breakfast, Phil will try to wrestle with his big brother Smokey. It is until Smokey gets fed up and starts screaming. Yeah, like our cats, this is not wrestling. This is flat out abusive that they're doing to each other, and that is, um, it's not good. Um, these cats, they are being a little bit predatory toward Gilbert right now, and I don't like it. But he's also that way with Gertie. Like he singles her out and chases her down, and so the girls are ganging up on him because I think they're tired of him doing that. So, it's like I'd like them to figure it out on their own, but also when they're pulling tufts of hair out of the back of his neck and stalking him, to the point where he did not want to come out of the bedroom today. I had to carry him out. Um, it's not good. We gotta figure something out. And says, yes, glad it was without garlic. I don't need him eating problematic food since he eats everything. I know, right? Let me put something on the screen here because I've just flipped the camera, and I always forget that I flipped the camera. Here, there's one of my dishes. Um, let's see here. Oh, you going, Barn? You don't have to go, bud. You choosing to? All right. You want me to let you out? Okay, I'll be right back. Everybody gonna let Barnaby out of the room. You ready to go? Okay. Let's see here. Um, my two like lettuce, says Leslie. Um, we've tried to give our cats lettuce. Some of them love spinach, but they're not fans of regular lettuce because lettuce is okay for cats and spinach is okay for cats. And some of ours really like spinach, especially a very particular leaf, like a younger leaf in spinach, they like. If the leaf is too big or too hard, they don't like them anymore. But we've tried lettuce. They don't like lettuce, just plain lettuce. They'll play with it, they won't eat it. Andrew says, I think they're on edge with everything going on in the world. They pick up our energy. And when there's additions to their territory, like a new cat, they reassert the pecking order. It's true. It is true. Our energy has been off a lot lately with everything going on. Marianne says, my kids do have the occasional fussy fit with each other. Yeah, an occasional is fine. Stalking day after day, not a great thing. Not where we want to be. Um, Susie says, I do feel like being there at the time of his passing is just as well as attending the funeral. He was an organ donor, so there was a lot of ritual that happened. It was emotional, but quite lovely. Yeah, see, that's, I prefer that moment. I know that's a hard moment, but after once the funeral, especially if it's like a viewing in an open casket and a funeral, I do not like seeing people in that state because it never really looks like them. Maybe if you have somebody who's really good at what they do, but most of the time, like anytime I've been to a viewing, it no longer looks like that person. And that's not we always talk about this in my family. That's the last memory and the one that gets, ingrained in you. Um, that's the memory you have of them and what they look like. And that's not generally what they look like anymore. Um, so yeah, I like, I'm never bothered if there's not a funeral. Um, um, and there are some people that like funerals because they allow you to be with people and grieve if you want to, but I don't grieve in public. I wish I could be more open, but I'm not. So for me, it's even harder because you're like I'm trying to hold everything in and that stiff upper lip kind of thing and not show that you're grieving and you find stupid things to joke about with people at a funeral and then you feel bad for joking at a funeral. Like it's that kind of thing to me. And so in my family, we just don't like them and we don't really do them. Susan says, oh, we went to the pet store to pick up food. I turned my back for a mere seconds and the bag of kibble was on the floor in grave danger. Oh boy. Um, Let's see here. Susie said, 3 people received a second chance of life because of my brother, so I am at peace. Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Um, I think organ donation is a great thing. I am definitely marked as an organ donor, and I do hope that, I can be of use someday in that way. Um, let's see here. Oh, there, my comments just popped up here. Andrew says, we know we have to block out the side windows, but we've been dragging our feet. Yeah, we need to measure the windows because we're going to buy a film to go over them, and we just need to measure them and buy it. But that takes kind of usually a low priority with everything else we have going on sometimes. But if they're going to start acting like this, it needs to be raised up in priority level. Susan says, my cats just look at our food like, you eat this? Really? Yeah. Some of ours kind of do, but um, Gertie and Barnaby are usually right up in my face when I'm trying to eat. They like to have a look at what I'm going to eat. And then Ida Bell, she knows I share sometimes. So she is over there. If there's any kind of bread like something or crust, she loves that. Andrew says, Idabel and Gilbert generally get along. Yeah, they usually do. They'll sleep by each other. They lay on the couch with Andrew together, but she's just stalking him right now. Like literally, you can watch her run around the house, like pinning him in corners and stalking him. Andrew says, but she does look after Gertie. Yep. If she thinks Gertie is in trouble, she looks after her. Susan says, funerals are for the living and very hard. I don't want one. Yeah, some of our family was upset that some, like my grandparents, didn't have a funeral, but that was their request. They did not want to have one. They didn't want a viewing, especially, and they wanted to be cremated. So there was no funeral. And, I believe that you don't go against a person's last request that way. And that's what they wanted. Sandra joined us. Hello, Sandra. Thanks for joining in. Susan says, just too many things to fit into one day. Andrew says, I don't share. No, he doesn't share his food. I share. I'm the easy daddy. Susie says, thank you all for everyone's support. I know it's not comfortable for many people. It's hard, right? But I don't, it's hard because it's hard for those who carry on. But it happens to us all at some point, right? We don't get out of here without that happening. Leslie says, I had a friend tell me I embarrassed her by crying at her mother's funeral. That really hurt me. Yeah, sounds kind of insane to me because that's, what people do at a funeral. At least they should. I don't because, I have these things about myself that, showing weakness and all that, which I'm trying to get over. I'm trying to be, because I am an emotional person. Like I will want to cry at a movie and I will hold that back as much as I can. And I'm trying to get better about not doing that and just being more open. Um, but that all comes from my trauma growing up and, being gay and not wanting to look too gay or, all that stuff. And being more manly and all that stupid stuff that comes with it. So yeah, that's wild to me, Leslie, and I'm sorry that happened to you, because that's what a funeral is for. If a funeral is not for crying and being emotional, then what is a funeral for? Like that's the whole point is to grieve, and remember the people. It's so strange to me. Susan says, our first cat, Mr. Boots, loved cheese. He was quite the connoisseur. Barnaby loves some cheese. He loves some, especially fried cheese. That cheese gets a little like when I make grilled cheese and there's that little crispy. He loves that kind of fried cheese. Andrew says, I don't want a funeral. Too much drama. You want to see me? See me when I'm alive, right? I kind of feel that way. I definitely don't want a funeral. I don't want a viewing. I don't want a funeral. Um, Cremate me and scatter me somewhere if you want to. Hold on to me if you want to, depending on who it is, what's going on. But um, scatter me by a tree in a lake somewhere or something. Some water, some forest, some water, something, a stream flowing through the woods. All good for me. Um, that's where that's where you can find me in my afterlife. Susie says, Susan, thank you. I don't want a funeral either. Death is a part of life, Susie. Talking about your experience is okay with me, says Marianne. Right? Susan says, we sometimes share with Smokey, but he just gives us strange looks. Andrew says, plus, it can be a financial burden for those who are left without advanced planning. Yeah, it all can be, right? But especially a big funeral and all that. And why spend all the money? Like, I don't understand. And it's fine if you do, and I don't want to say anything against you. Personally, I don't understand putting a body in a box where it doesn't decompose the same way, where it doesn't go back to the earth, where it doesn't add back to nature. Um, I just don't get that. I don't get that. It's strange to me. As soon as and he spits out the food. Andrew says, if people want to remember me by helping others. Donate to Touchstone. There you go. Vicky says, I'm so sorry for your loss, Susie. I couldn't go to my brother's either. You have my sincere sympathy. And thank you for joining us, Vicky. Thanks for being here. Andrew says, I'll probably make you into a statue. I'm going to be a statue? What kind of statue? What are you making me into a statue? Marion says, under a big tree would be awesome, right? I think, like, Andrew can make me into a statue, I guess, but like, throw some of my ashes in the woods by a stream. That's where, like, I've always loved the woods. And I just, like, I think, like, where I grew up by a lake, a small lake, and I liked that. And if that would have had like a section of woods where our house was a little bit in the woods and there was a lake there, that would have been like perfect. It was a good place to grow up, but having the woods there, we did have some woods nearby, but you had to walk to them. And so, yeah, I've always imagined being in the woods, in a house in the woods by a lake, and that would be wonderful. Susan says, I would rather people donate to something I believe in or do something good for the world, right? Anne says, my family is exploring a service where you get buried, not embalmed, to become compost, basically, just natural. Yeah, there are a few services that do that in certain places. Like, it has to be legal in that place. You would think it would be more legal to do it naturally, but it's actually, I think, harder with a lot of laws to do it that way. So yeah, I'm like, literally, I would be fine if you dug a hole and threw me in it and covered it back up. Like, I don't need, like, once I'm gone, let my body go back to nature. Yeah. And Anne says, and we don't want funerals either, right? Leslie wants to be put into a tree pod. Yeah, those are really cool. Kimberly says, I told my family I want a green burial. Yeah. Susie says, I would like a Tibetan funeral. Put my body on top of a mountain and let the birds eat me. I was going to say that too. If I was put in a hole, if I'm put somewhere where nature can use me and eat me and, feed, that's fine too. I have no problem with any of that. Andrew says, do it while you're alive. Why wait until dead time? What am I doing while I'm alive? Vicky says, I'm weird. I want to be donated to a cadaver farm, but I am outside the area. I've read too many true crime books. I don't even know what that means to be donated to a cadaver farm. For research, you mean? Is it for research? Marion says, oh, yes, that tree should be by a bubbling stream, right? Perfect. I agree. Susie says, put me in a pod to become a tree. Yeah, why not? Right? Oh, okay. So this is, let's get on with show and tell here a little bit. This is the dish I made. So this was done with a kind of light, they kind of look like a little bit like olives. They're like olive green, olive brown, um, circles and dots that I did. And then I rubbed some black in the background a little bit. To give it so it wasn't just so completely like stark white. And this is the house by the lake and the forest. Oh yeah, I'd love that. I don't know how you get that, but I would love that. Susie says, let's be happy now. Vicky says, I love the spots. Thanks. This is now on the website, available for sale. I think it's the biggest one I've ever made, or one of the biggest. I still priced it the same price of all of them. Um, and so that's available. And I added extra dots up here too on the edges and down here. And some of them ran a little bit more than I thought they were going to, but that's all right. It just adds to the look, I think. But that's available. I really like how the black is in here. Like it's like almost like an eraser mark. I kind of wiped it in and then wiped it away just so it wouldn't be completely just white in there because I felt like that didn't work. So that is available. And then I love how these two fit inside each other. I didn't plan that, but they fit inside each other really well. Um, this is the one Kimberly was talking about that she grabbed today. This is this little flower that I made. And instead of popping these out like I usually do, I pushed them in on this one. And I realized it looks like a flower. So then I turned it into a flower. So this one is sold. And thank you for that. But I did various levels. This is all done using the same color, but I used some like water to lighten up some of the spaces in here to do like a watercolor. So it wasn't as dark. I painted it darker in the center, and I did the edges around here in a darker color too to give it a little bit of an edging. So that one is sold. This one is still available. This one is so small that I made it. I did reduce the price on a little bit. It's still like they're normally 27. I think I made this one 24 or 22. I can't remember. Because there's still work in it, and just because it's smaller doesn't mean it's any less work, really. It actually has some more work than some of them, but this one is done in that same way with the blues, but stretched out with water a little bit in various places to give it um, less of a coating throughout some of the areas. So that's a cute little one. And Andrew says they use the cadaver farms to study decomposition. There's one called the Body Farm, and it's used to help train forensic scientists. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, why not? I don't think there's anything weird about that. This is my latest vessel, and this one took a lot of time. So I made the vessel itself, and then each one of these I carved out by hand using a carving tool. And then I went in and colored each one, trying to make sure that the same colors didn't touch. You know, you don't want two blues together. So I used enough colors that that didn't happen. I didn't plan that in advance. I should have with counting, but I didn't. So I did that, and then the engobe around to keep a little bit of definition and to keep this glaze, because I know engobe often resists other glazes, because I learned that in my other works that I've made. So I wanted to resist this glaze, and so I put the engobes around to circle them. And I had to do a few layers of that to build up a little bit. And I did a few layers on the insides. And then this was painstakingly brushed in around all of this and trying not to invade into the circles. And there are 2 or 3 coats of this one. I think I did 2 coats of this one throughout. And then I took all of the colors that I used out here and I patchworked them on the inside and then added a light flux to force them to kind of run into one another. And so that is what that is. And I really, really, really like this one. Andrew says sometimes when things are smaller, they're harder to make. Yeah, this was like my fingers are pretty big, I have fairly big hands. Making something this small and not deforming it and all that is actually a little bit harder than the other ones. Anna says, "Hi, William. Lovely pottery." Hi, Anna. Thanks for joining us. And thank you. So these are all in the online store with the exception of the red one. It is now sold, but these other pieces are in the online store. And tomorrow, if you missed this one, I will be adding this one. This is done in a very light colorway. So these are kind of these pastel colors. A lot of them I used also on here, but I did them lighter. I cut them with water and like a watercolor and made them even lighter and then used them in here with the engobe in the black. So there it's multicolor on the inside and multicolor around the outside where the colors would have flowed out from the inside kind of. So that's that. That one I don't have online yet, but I will put it online tomorrow. And it says, hi, AG Bead Fam, TGIF. Yeah, Fridays are nice, right? Even though Friday doesn't mean as much to us, there's still something about a Friday. Yeah. So that's that. And now I'm going to show y'all some, not all, just some of the silver jewelry that I posted today. That's in the online store. You can now buy it there. But I wanted to show you a few pieces of it. Susan says these works have a bit of a Keith Haring-ish vibe. Maybe. Yeah, I could see that, especially like kind of the squiggles. I could see that. I'm not I've never been like I'm not into his work, but it's never been a big like I'm not like a huge fan. Some people I've known are like super huge fans. So maybe there's like I don't know. I wouldn't say he's an influence, but obviously it's there is some similarity. Um Sue says that last ceramic piece reminds me of Keith Haring. This one, really? That's the oh no, this one. This one. Yeah. My squiggles, I could see that. I could see that. And so this is one of these pieces. This one I think is 85. I think it's still available. Beautiful, looks like a garnet and then dichroic glass, I believe, up above. So that is available in the online store. And these pieces are at introductory prices. So like $85 is the price on that, but they will go up. They're going to go up. I don't know how long we'll keep the introductory prices on them, but they will definitely go up to meet kind of the new silver prices as silver is going up and up and up. Let's see here. Ba-ba-ba. I don't know what. I'm missing something. Anna saying, "Oh, Susie, that's a beautiful gift you're giving those families." I'm missing something. Susie says, when you get a chance, watch the opening ceremony of Olympics, Milan, Italy. Nice. I'll have to take a look. Susan says, William, I'm not a Keith Haring fan, but I really like your work. Thank you. Susan says, I did snag one sterling pendant. It's so tempting to get another. Well, thank you so much. I did see that. I wasn't going to say anything, but I appreciate that. Oh, with her brother being an organ donor. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, Kimberly says, I missed the talk about KH. Is that me? It's my initials. It is your initials. No, Keith Haring. Keith Haring, the artist. This is $158. Beautiful stone set in sterling. This is a large pin. Andrew says, I would say the squiggles look more like Angel Ortiz's work. He was a contemporary of Keith Haring and showed him a lot. See, I don't know all these people. Don't know that one at all. I only know Keith Haring because he's so well known. I had a friend way back who was a super Keith Haring fan, and that's when I first learned of him. But that was like in college. I hadn't known of them before that. This one is very possibly one of my very, very favorite pieces in this entire collection. Is this, and I think is this a meteorite slice, Andrew, at the bottom? I think that's a meteorite piece, or it could be pyrite. It might just be pyrite. I can't remember. See if Andrew remembers. Solar pyrite. So solar pyrite. I love this piece. I thought if it was a meteorite, it's going to be much more expensive. This is $230, but there is a lot of silver in this. And I don't know what this is on top. I think this is glass on top. That's one of the reasons I don't have all the descriptions in of what all the stones are, because I got to check with Andrew on them. There are tourmalines. These are tourmalines around the outside. And I think this piece is glass. Andrew also said no one really talks about Angel Ortiz because he was 16 and Puerto Rican. Well, that makes sense. Art glass, he says. Okay. Art glass, solar pyrite, and tourmaline. I have to remember that so I can add it to the listing. I want to put them on the listing. I just didn't get that today because I didn't know them all, so I figured I'd leave them all off and then get back to them. This is also one of my very favorite pieces, with this cinnabar frog. At least it looks like a frog to me. I think it's cinnabar, a frog, and I think that's a moonstone. Moonstone, and I don't know what that is. If that's a citrine or a carnelian or something else. But beautiful piece. I love this. It's the kind of frog sitting on a leaf. I love this leafy design in the silver. Leslie said, wow, that's stunning. This one is $160. And which is really not that much for, what all went into creating this. Andrew says, looks like Hessonite garnet. So that's why, yeah, that makes sense. So I need Andrew around to help me with that. But look at how pretty that is set in that bezel wire. That cinnabar frog, or kind of frog. I mean, it's designed like a frog, but shaped like a frog, but it looks different from above, right? I think it's so cool. One of my favorite pieces. Those two pieces that I just showed you, if I were going to keep any, those would definitely be two that I would keep and probably wear. But we're trying to move stuff. This has been in our collection for years, and I've not worn them. I should pull them out more often and just wear them but we're trying to sell them now. This one's $85. And it says on a lily pad. Yep, lily pad leaf. Beautiful, beautiful artisan glass. And looks like a garnet or a hessonite. Looks like, I don't know. Looks like a garnet of some sort down there, maybe. And this one is done like this. And initials HM. SS, sterling silver. Oh, there it is. H. Mackey. Andrew said that is a garnet. Garnet. So that's that one, $85. These are all available in the online store unless any of them have sold. Nancy said, just tuning in. These are beautiful online and really yummy in person. They are delightful. Thank you for saying yes. They are pretty amazing. This is this one is Cindy Callahan, and I love these. Cindy Callahan. Beautiful stone. And I love this kind of metal work. And I love the shape of these. And that's a pin or a pendant. And this one is $185. Really good prices on sterling silver stuff right now. Really good prices. Andrew says, I spent years collecting everything. I got stuff in estate sales and antique stores and buying collections. Yeah, Andrew's had some of this in his collection for like decades now. And it's really, really pretty stuff. Here's another Cindy Callahan, um, which has, I think, a very beautiful turquoise here at the bottom. Look at that. And then this beautiful, I don't know, what is that's an agate? I don't know what that is. It's gorgeous, but so pretty. And again, pendant or a pin. And it says not good prices, excellent prices. Yeah, this is $265 only. And I mean, look at the quality of work. And again, we are selling these unpolished, untouched. They are as is, because we're leaving the natural patinas on them. If you want to polish them, that's up to you. When you get them, you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want. Let me find another one of my favorites. Oh, I love these earrings. Andrew says the bottom piece is turquoise. Yeah, I thought it was turquoise. I don't know what the top piece is. I love, love, love these earrings. I just think they're so cool. Susan says, I usually prefer sterling to have a patina. Yeah, me too. Beautiful earrings. Gorgeous pair of earrings. And then if I can find it here, let me see. There's also a pendant that coordinates with that. It's obviously by the same maker. I don't know who they are. The earrings are $110 and the pin is $144. And it says stunning Roman glass. And it says Roman style glass and amethyst. Yeah, like look at this set. Isn't that beautiful? Like I almost put this on today. I love this one so much. And it goes so well with my sweater. I was gonna wear it. I was like, no one's gonna see me wearing it today. No one came in. So isn't that a lovely set? So 144 for the pin or brooch and 110 for the pair of earrings. All available at allegorygallery.com. And he says, of course you do. It's green. I know, right? Green and amethyst. That's my birthstone and my favorite color. This is a Carly Wright piece. Carly Wright, $110. I love that. So cool. Really awesome piece. Marianne's drooling over there. Andrew said this actually might be Roman glass since they have an iridescent patina. Yeah, the previous ones. Andrew says it's Champlavet enamel. So this is Champlavet enamel. That's where they cut out the recesses, right? So they take the metal, they cut out the recess, and then they add the enamel in and then polish it all up. That's a very simplistic way of saying what they did, I know. But that's kind of, I think, the process. What did I just do? There it is. And that's $110 for that one. Let's see, what else do I have? Here's my other favorites. Oh, this one. Andrew says, nowadays there's a lot of stuff sold at Roman glass, but it's more of a style than actually excavated glass. This one has 14 karat gold. Look at this super, this is it? I think it's rutilated quartz up there. Look at those beautiful glass, and then the druzy here, and then I don't know what this middle stone is. It's like a bronzy, coppery. Is it like a bronzite? I don't know. I don't know what that stone is, but it's very metallic. But then you can see the 14 karat gold. There's been kind of like a plating in. Super pretty. That one's 210 because of the gold. Makes it more expensivo. Let me see here. There's some other of my favorites. It'll still be in the bag. Let me look. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Andrew says, I think it might be native copper. I was wondering, I was going to ask you if it's a native copper, because it kind of looked like it to me. This one is also 210, but this has this hand carved stone. Thinking a jade, yellow jade, hand carved. And then it has 18 karat and 14 karat gold. It's marked, you can see back here, 14K, 18K, and 925 silver. And that is also 210. These both pieces are 210 because of the gold content. So that's a few of the pieces to show you. I can't take you through everything because we're going to get on with the show here a little bit. But these are all available in the online store. Please take a look at them. If you love vintage jewelry, I have not sent out an email, so you all are the first to know. I kind of let our group know earlier today before we actually sent out any kind of email about it. One more here. This is again Cindy Callahan. Look at this gorgeous piece of turquoise in here. Look how it's like split. Green, yellow. And really deep patina on this one that's set in, almost making it like coppery and gold. And that's sterling. Done with a pin or done as a pendant. You can use it both ways. And that one's $190. $190. All right. Let me put these away. Okay, one more, because I love this one. This is the one that I was using as some of the banners and stuff. I love this one so much. This is a Carly Wright. It's only $85. And it's this piece. Love this piece so much. I think is that Champlavet enamel too? Or is it? I think so. Only it's done in matte instead of a glossy glass. It's like sandblasted or sandpapered. Give it a matte finish in there, which I think is so cool. I think Like I definitely think I prefer this one as matte than the glossy, which is odd for me, but I don't think it would have the same effect. Acid etched, Anderson. So acid etched. And that's a pen. That's only $85. $85? That's beautiful. It's like we lost our mind with some of these prices, but they are introductory. And as I said, at some point they will all go up to match more of what pricing should be for sterling silver and gold right now. But we're giving you all a chance to get these first at the good prices. Okay. All right. Andrew says, if it doesn't sell, I might take it back. I know there are a few there. I'm like, if they don't sell, some of these may be added to my collection. Andrew says, that's a particularly nice enamel piece, and I have an enamel collection. It could move to his enamel collection instead of his sterling collection, right? Marion says, more drooling. I know, right? We technically own them, and I drool over them. It's like, I kind of want to keep a lot of them, but because I do love a brooch. I have always loved a brooch. Um, I used to wear them a lot in New York, and I love brooches. It's often my jewelry of choice when we go out and do something. I would rather wear a brooch than almost anything. Okay. BRN lots tonight. BRN. Barnaby was in here when I came up with that. And it's our barn. So BRN lots today, and we're going to get started. So hopefully you like this stuff. If you'd like to purchase from this video, take down the lot number, put that lot number in a subject line of an email, and send that email to us at info@allegorygallery.com. Andrew says, when we were trying to get Butcher Block up and running, I definitely tried to add to the collection. Yeah, a lot of that was supposed to be for Butcher Block Gallery when we were in that phase of development, trying to make that happen. Andrew says, I have a bunch of earrings too. I have some of the earrings, but they're not silver. They are, I mean, they do have some silver, but they're mostly like dichroic glass earrings that people have made. So I didn't post those. I took pictures of them, but I didn't post them because I was posting just the real, like lots of silver stuff today. And I know Andrew has a lot more earrings. All right. First one, I have a few of these today. We don't show these very often, and I wanted to show them. Andrew says, I have more, of course. These are golden tektites, or Libyan desert glass. They were $21 for this size. I'm going to make this 18 for you all. These are not drilled, but these are Libyan desert glass, golden tektites, they call them. And this is formed, these ones I believe are formed from oftentimes lightning hitting the desert. Some tektites formed with like meteors crashing and superheating. I think this is lightning. It could be meteor action, but I think it's lightning. I could be wrong. Andrew can tell me. But it's super cool. I love it. I brought a few pieces because we very rarely ever show it. It just sits in the store mostly. So I wanted to bring some home to show y'all. This is another piece. This was also 21. I'll bring it down to 18. This is usually priced per gram, by the way. That's how we often buy it, priced by the gram. Andrew says these are meteor made. So meteor. These are the real deal. I think some people do sell them that they are lightning struck, but they are not the real deal necessarily. These are from meteor. So meteor blasts in the desert, and versus lightning, you get a different structure. Okay. This next one I have, slightly heavier, was $32. I'll bring it down to 28. The slightly heavier one, slightly bigger, chunkier piece. These are really cool if you wire wrap them, or if you really know what you're doing, you want to bezel set them. Super cool. And versus when it's lightning, it kind of looks like a tree branch. That would make sense because that's how lightning comes out, right? Kind of that tree branch-like design. And then I have one more of these. ERN4. This was 42. I'll bring it down to 36. We'll go way down on that one. 36. How about that? Let me see. Oh boy, lots of emails tonight. Sorry, I didn't get through my email today. I was working so much on this stuff in the online store. So just checking that out. Andrew says this is like Moldavite. Yeah, this is like the yellow version of Moldavite, right? Struck by a meteor. Andrew says you can see that it isn't just a piece of glass because of the dimple patterns. Yeah, see, it's sand fusing under the heat of a meteor impact. This is the biggest piece I brought today. $42 originally, down to 36 for y'all. Super, super cool. BRN 1, 2, 3, and 4. Is up. All right. Golden Tektites or Libyan Desert Glass. It's called. I love it. I love it so much because it's kind of rare. Real stuff is rare, right? You get a lot of meteorites impacting out there in the same way. Okay, I brought a few of these strands from the store. We haven't had these in the regular shows in a while. Somebody was asking for moonstone yesterday. So I found these. They were looking for little moonstone, but I found some moonstone, and I just brought it because this is so pretty. This one, let's see, BRN5, and this was 65, which is a really good price, but I'll bring it down to 58 if somebody wants it. And it's out of here. No. Oh, I think I left my. Uh-oh. I left my calipers at the store. Sorry, everybody. I don't have my calipers here today. We're gonna have to do as good as we can without them. Luckily, this is tagged. If I can read the tag, they're graduated rondelles. It looks like 5 to 10 millimeters. And this is beautiful moonstone, very light moonstone. Smooth rondelles. Look at that chatoyance in there. Nice, nice little cat's eye flash. Beautiful beads. Really kind of higher end beads. They're really nice. Lots of good flash in them. They do come on the sterling silver chain, extender chain, and the lobster claw. And I've got one of these available. Was 65, now 58. Beautiful moonstone, graduated smooth rondelles. Okay, let's see here. What's next? We have this one. This is BRN6. This was 75. I'll bring it down to 68. This is a gorgeous strand. Let's see. Andrew says it's wild to think that the Alice Mountains in Morocco were once connected to the Appalachian Mountains and some of the mountain ranges in the UK. I know, right? Isn't it weird? But and that's what the the geography tells you, right? Things buried there, spread out. BRN6, this was 75, now 68. This is beautiful Oahi blue opal. And these are graduated smooth rondelles as well. Gorgeous Oahi blue opal with the sterling silver lobster and extender chain. Really great quality. Nice variance of color in that light blue to darker blue. Stunning blue opal. One strand available, $68. I don't know if we've shown that before. I don't remember if we've ever shown that one. I don't know if we've shown this one. Those have been in the store for quite some time. Let's see here. I'm going to give you a big discount on this one. It was 160, going down to 120. This is some beautiful Boulder Opal nuggets, vintage strand of these wonderful Boulder Opal nuggets. This is done up already on a stretch, but I would restring it if you're going to do something with it. But really beautiful quality vintage Boulder Opal. A nice seam running through there. Gorgeous color on these. Be still my beating heart, says Susan. Look at that. Stunning pieces, polished, ready to go. Use them as separate pendants if you want to. Look how thick that is in there. Really awesome. And like I said, big discount today. The most we've ever done. 160 down to 120. And this is how many beads on there? 2, 4, 6, 7 beads. 7 beads on there. Beautiful Boulder opal. Stunning, stunning strand. Was 160, now 120. This is from the store. This never ever goes on sale. I mean, once in a while we have things in the store on sale, but very rarely. Very rarely. That's why this doesn't go into the online store either, because we have more sales there than what we can usually do on this. So one strand, $120. Tonight on this weekend only. If you're watching the replay, you can still get it if nobody grabs it tonight. But this is going um, back into the display at the store if it doesn't sell, and back up to regular price. It's a super nice strand. right. Then, let's see, we had these at $7.50. I'll do them at $6. I do have multiples of these. BRN 8. Andrew said this is probably worth a lot more. I got an excellent price on it. Yeah. The fact that I'm taking it down is just because we've had it a while. We don't raise our prices, so we set that at that. We're not going to ever charge more than that. We should probably set it higher, but we're never going to charge more than it, and we're never going to charge for it again because it just sold. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will put that away. All right, next up, BRN 8. These are vintage Mako metallic bugle. They're iris bugle beads. They are so pretty. You're getting all of these for $6. The whole hank of them. They are approximately 2 millimeters by 1 millimeter. And they are so dang pretty. Vintage bugle beads. Anna says, love it. I have some smaller ones of the Boulder Opal. Nice. Now you got the bigger. Beautiful. Blue iris bugle. Iris bugle beads, 2 millimeters by 1 millimeter. Gorgeous hank. And I do have multiples of these available. So $6 if you want one. I'm gonna put them back in their bag now though, so that they don't, just in case. These are vintage, so the strands could fall apart. And we did sell one of these so far. Thank you so much. We have multiples of these available. If you'd like more at $6, I think that's a steal for the whole hanks of those. BRN9. Let's see here. These are super cool. What do we have priced these? These are vintage acrylic. And those were 18. I'll bring them down to 16 for you. We've just sold another one of the 8s. Thank you so much. BRN9. This particular colorway, I have 4 of the kind of white / cream and green. So 4 of those available. And I love these so much. Love these. And you can see the holes obviously go across. They're kind of like drops or pendants. And I think these are awesome. Vintage, probably antique at this point. Acrylic. BRN10. This was 18, now 16. And it says, how many other colors in those acrylic? Oh, we're getting to it. I'm going to have a total of 4 different colors. This is the next one. And I have 2 of this color in blue, BRN10. I'll put them all out real quick so y'all can see. BRN11 was 18, now 16. I have 1 of the orange. which I love so, so much. And then BRN12 was 18, now 16. I have one of, it's a different shape and a different color. It's in the green, and it's still kind of a top drilled thing. They're kind of wonky drilled a little bit, like it's on the upper side here, but more on the side over here. It's such a cool, like it kind of hangs a little bit crooked, which I think is so awesome. They're all done like that. So that's BRN 12. Whoops. So there's 9, 10, 11, and 12. 4 of them, 2 of them, 1 of them, 1 of them. All right, I'm going to take a drink. We've just sold 1 of 10, so there's 1 of those left. We've sold 11. That one's sold out. Thank you so much. Susan says they'd make great statement necklaces. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they would. All right, let me put 11 away. We've just sold 1 of the 9s. Thank you so much. We have 3 of those still available. So 3 of the 9s, 1 of the 10s, and 1 of the 12s still available. And I'm going to put the Libyan desert glass away. Get that out of the way here before I mix these bags up. And this is great. So cool. I know, right? They are very, very cool. I tried to find some cool stuff today for you. I pulled stuff from the shop because I wasn't sure I'd get home in time to search through the stash at the cottage or here at the house. And so I pulled some, these are all things from the store floor. If you come into our store, these are all things you could get, right? If you make a trip, somebody make trips, people come in, visit us. Someday, right? Maybe someday for y'all. I'm just glad we're able to do this way and hang out with y'all this way. Anna says, you know, I adore the unique. Me too. That's why we try and bring you stuff like that, right? It's the stuff we find interesting too. Anna says, you were on my bucket list of places to visit. Good. I'd love it. I would love it. I'm going to put 6 away as well. It's the Oahe Blue Opal strand, still available. Nobody grabbed that, or the Moonstone. Really good prices on those. And let's see here, 7. All right, so no one grabbed 12. I'm surprised. The green, my favorite color. Nobody's going to grab it. All right. Okay, it's still available, y'all. Okay. Let's see here. So 3 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these still available. And my marker, I need a new marker. Let me see if any of these have any ink left in them. I need to buy new Sharpies. It's like I feel like I'm buying Sharpies every few days. BRN 13. Let's see here. Sure, got those. Let's move that down here. I know some of y'all like the big old beads, and we don't show these too often, but when we do, they often we often sell a few. Surprising to me because they are such big beads. These are $10. That's a really good price. I really can't go lower than that. I do have multiples. I don't know how many. I didn't bring them all home because they are so big. But BRN 13 are these large glass kind of dimpled drops. Kind of like a melon drop. And this is in the kind of snow white color, which is great for if you're doing the Pantone color of the year, right? Cloud Dancer, you got the white beads, big white beads, and then BRN14. We've got them in multiples available too. BRN14. We've got them in kind of a gray. Kind of almost like an olive gray. Like there's a little, I feel like a little bit of green in there. Those. And these drops are about 24 by 13 millimeters. What I have marked on there. And then BRN15. I have them in this beautiful kind of periwinkle blue. Love this color. BRN15. Big drops. You get a lot of them on there for $10. If you're making like simple necklaces to sell, put these on a chain, have it as the pendant on a chain, and you can make a lot of quick necklaces with these beautiful little drops. And I think they'd be a really nice seller. I should do it. If we weren't trying to convince people to make their own jewelry so much, I would do more of that. All right, I'm going to take BRN8 away. That's these. So this is Maxfield Parrish type blue, right? It is. I'm going to take these away. They were $7.50, now $6 each. I've got a bunch of those. So if you want a bunch of those, grab a bunch of those. I can get a bunch of those for you. Let's see here. 7, 8. I'm going to put these away. There are 3 of BRN9 still available. Oh, let me just going to leave that. There's one of the blues still left. The blue rounds. BRN10 for 16. We've just sold one of the 15s. Thank you so much. And I'm going to put the 12 away. That's the one and only green still available in the oval shape. Maybe that one's meant for me because it's green and it's really weird. I like that weird cut, that weird drilling. BRN 12. All right, 13, 14, and 15. We have multiples of each. I don't know how many. I left them at the store, but I know I have at least 2 of each. Oops, I put that too high. Can't see the numbers, can you? There we go. This one's a fun one. What do I have on this? This was 24. 24. I'll bring it down to 20. I've only got the one. These are fun. And it says, love that color blue. I know, isn't it so pretty? BRN 16. This is regular white magnesite, 14 millimeter rounds. You don't usually magnesite you find dyed. So finding it in its natural kind of white is really cool, especially in these bigger beads that show off the kind of banding and the striping and the patterns. White magnesite, not dyed. Was 24 for the strand. We'll do it for 20 for you. Really cool. Another great white bead if you're working with white beads this year. And there it is, white magnesite, 14 millimeter rounds. One strand available, $20 only. BRN 16. I'll kind of be surprised if that one doesn't sell. Anna says, I like it better that like that undyed than I like the dyed ones. I know, right? It's so pretty. It's really so pretty. I know they dyed and it can really look like turquoise and all that, but you know, I think it's so pretty on its own that it deserves to be left undyed sometimes. Okay, another glass one. Let's see, what did I have on these? 10. Yeah, I can't do better than that on these. So subtle and lovely, says Anna. It is. All right. Next. These are kind of like a seashell style or a clamshell, seashell style glass drop in this kind of mauve-y pink color. That, how would you describe it? Is that a good description? Oh, we just sold 16. I had a feeling that one was going to go. Somebody was going to grab that. Ones that we do have multiple strands of these. Oh, Marianne's going into lurking mode. Okay, Marianne, thanks for hanging out with us and chatting while you could. Hit that lurking mode. I'm going to put 16 away since it just sold. Thank you, thank you. And I'm going to move 17 up to here. Then those are the big beads across there. Let's see here. I pulled out some strands of Monique, some of the ones that I really like. These are mixed strands. We normally sell these for 12, but I'll drop them to 10. And I have a few of them to show you. This is BRN 18. You're buying the particular strand. And I liked this big black and white bead on here. I think because I shared some of Suzanne's items the other day on our timeline, and she has that black and white necklace, well, black, white, and silver necklace that she made that had these kind of the wavy disc beads, kind of like this, different. But anyway, that was on my mind, and I pulled this, and I love these beads on here. I also love these ones right here, these big red and green ones. Love those, and lots of little beads on there. Great mix and match kind of strand. One of those available, BRN 18, Monique from Indonesia, handmade lampwork glass from Indonesia. BRN 19, I have this strand. Lots of kind of green, olivey colors in that strand. So that's that one, BRN 19. And then I have this one, BRN 20. I love these hearts on here. And I love this center bead, this big one. It's so fun. I love those colors, that orange and pale blue. These are fun beads right here. Great strand, BRN 20. And then one more. BRN 21 is this last one that I pulled that I liked. Has these melon beads on here, kind of aqua blue. This really fun one is the big one there. Some more of the hearts in that kind of carnelian and orange kind of color. I love the paw print beads that they do. And there you go, BRN 21. Okay, pick some of these up. BRN 13. BRN 14. Gray. BRN 15 is the blue. Beautiful big blue drops. For those of you who like the big beads, great as pendants. And BRN 17, 16 is sold. 17, we've got the seashell beads. $10 a strand. Okay. 18 up here. Make sure you can still see the numbers. 18. 19. 20. 21. Let's do it that way. Here we go. And then BRN 22. I've got these hematite, 8mm hematite crosses. So cool. These were 16. I will do them for 14 each. I have only one of this color. This is the silver. Andrew says they remind me of Madeline's. Oh, some of the shapes on there. Oh no, the seashells. Yes, these they do. They do look like Madeline's. Andrew says I miss the French bakery in town. I know. I know. I almost forgot. Like I actually did forget we had a French bakery in town at one point. That's sad they're not in town. It's been a while though. So these are 8mm hematite crosses in this kind of pewter silver color. I've only got one strand of this color. They were 16. Doing this strand for $14 for you. Super cool. I can see a lot of you playing with that in your designs with those cross motifs. One strand available, BRN 22. And I've only got one of this one available. Sue says, now I want Madeleines or something sweet. I know, right? Andrew made cake. I think we still have some cake, thank goodness. This is the gunmetal version, a deeper gray on these, BRN 23. Andrew says, they just opened a French-Korean bakery in Mechanicsburg. So when I go to teach, I might stop in. Huh, it's interesting. So these are these two colors together. So you can see the slight difference in them. It's more pronounced in person. It almost looks the same on camera. They are different, y'all. This is a deeper color. This is a little bit lighter. But they would really coordinate well. And then BRN24 was 16, now 14. I think I have 3 of these ones. 3 of these ones. BRN 24. This is the gold color. Gold color. These are hematite crosses, 8 millimeter. Or hematite plus signs. If you don't want to call them crosses, right? They don't have to be crosses. They're just little plus signs. Three of those. BRN25. I think these would be fun to make patterns with, as far as like you could do pluses and minuses, do a small tube bead, or do some rounds and do X's and O's for, you know, hugs and kisses. I think that could be really cool to play with. And this was 16 as well. Now 14. I have multiples of these ones. I don't know how many I have left, but I have more than probably 5. So we'll see if we sell any of these. But this is the blue version of these. Andrew says, positively a good idea. LOL, right? Yeah, make some X's and O. I think it'd be X's for sure. Like X's and O. Rounds, rings, rounds, however you want to do it. Super cute. All right. Let me pick up the menu. Andrew says, I'll add it to my list. He's getting very punny over there. Very punny. Let's see here. We sold the 123. Thank you so much. That's the deeper gray one, is now sold out. Thank you. Thank you. We only had the one of those. And keep putting these away. Putting the unique away. I gotta. Sorry, I'm trying to speed up a little because I think my phone's running dead. I was using my phone as the hotspot today, and I forgot about that. So I'm hoping it hasn't. I don't think I've seen the red battery come up yet, but I can imagine it's getting there. All right, 22 is still available. 23 though has sold out. We have 1 of 22, 3 of 24, and multiples of the blue 25. All right. BRN 26. These are a vintage plastic strand. They were $5. I'll make them 4. I know I have multiples. I don't know how many. I didn't bring them all home. So this is a long vintage plastic strand for $4. Normally we don't put this many on a strand for that, but we'll do it for you for $4 tonight. These beautiful rounds. And these are vintage plastic in the yellow and white. And that's BRN 26. I will also do these ones. I think I have fewer of these available, but I still have multiples. So this is BRN 27. Is this kind of brown and white, or brown and cream? Those could very well go with the magnesite from before. Those could be a cool combination. They could pull out some of that kind of reddy brown in the magnesite. That's pretty cool, actually. So that's BRN 27. BRN 28. Let's see, these are $12. I'll do them for 10. I have multiples of these. I don't know exactly how many. These are the Tibetan style Z beads. Really pretty Z style agate. Let me pull another one. They're all different. Brought a few, but I know I have more. But just super pretty beads. That's BRN 28. I'll just leave one out. These were 10. I'll do them for 9. I've only got 3 of these ones. BRN 29. This is the smaller version of those. So these would work really well together if you wanted to. Oops, whoa, whoa. It's BRN 29. Small beads. I would say these are probably around 4 to 6 millimeter. Oh, there goes my battery saying it's getting low. So I gotta hurry up. And then last one tonight, BRN 30. Let's see. These are 16. I'll do them for 14. I've got 5 of them. 5 of them? 6 of them. I've got 6 of them available. We've sold one of the 26s. Thank you so much. That's one of the yellow vintage plastic. This is the Z style agate, but in a matte instead of a polished. And this is a long strand. We've sold one of the 28s and one of the 29s. Thank you so much. We still have 2 of the 29s left. This is the long version of 29, but it's not polished. So it's the long matte version of 29. It is 30. It was $16, now 14. When you figure that is half a strand for 9. This is a super deal at 14. Sometimes that just works out that way, the way we buy things. So there you go. BRN 30. You can barely see it. Sorry. Let me move this up here. Move these over a little bit so you can kind of see what's happening here. BRN 30. We just sold one of the BRN 30s. We've got 5 of those left. All right, y'all. And that, my friends, our friends, is it for the night. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I'm going to say a very quick goodbye here because my phone is dying. So we appreciate you all. Thank you for hanging out with us all week. It's weird to think it's Friday already. I feel like I just said happy Monday, but we're so thankful for all of you. And we hope that you have an amazing weekend. If you're in Johnstown, please come up to the shop and check out our Rock and Crystal show that we've got going on, or come up and make jewelry with us, whatever you'd like to do. If you're around Johnstown, also next Friday, we're going to be at Balance Restaurant, and we will be doing a food and bracelet making night up there for Galentine's Day. So bring your gal pals, come on up and grab some great food and make a bracelet with us. It's $45 for the night per person, and you can sign up in advance on our Facebook event tab. All right. Kimberly says Hubs is forcing me to watch the Olympics. Oh, I forgot. I guess it is on, huh? Yeah, that's what Susie was just saying, that the opening ceremony was really good. I have to watch it. Um, I do. I like watching the Olympics though sometimes, but yeah. Hopefully, hopefully you get to watch some other things if you don't want to watch it anyway. Um, but thank you all so much. Have an amazing weekend, and we will see you back here, if not before, on Monday. And remember, Sunday is our D-Stash night. So at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, we'll start in the D-Stash group and have another offering of great items there for you as well. If you prefer to do that, I don't think anybody watching this necessarily prefers that way, but if people don't like lives, please share it with your friends and let them know that we have the D-Stash available as well. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing weekend and evening, and we'll see you here on Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Bye, everybody.